Do you want a Porsche 911 suitable for the racetrack, but with a naturally aspirated engine? Well, then this is here for you. This is the updated Porsche 911 GT3, exclusively with all the changes, both for the normal GT3 and also for the GT3 Touring, which is then a little bit more suitable for the normal road again. All you need to know about both models and the updates and the changes with Thomas Nautical in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go, starting with the main 911 GT3. This new update here, this is really made for the racetrack, but also that you can drive to the racetrack with the same vehicle, use it on the track and then drive back again. This is also equipped with the optional Weissach package. Listen and repeat, Weissach. That's named then after the place of development. And here you can see this also has then this visible carbon fiber in the front and these air outgoings. So here the air comes in here, then there's the cooler, then there's a lot of coolant flying basically around the vehicle, and the hot air comes out here and also serving in here. That's actually entering faster with these extra openings. This is special to the GT3, and the normal 911 doesn't have these really large openings. Then headlamps, LED, matrix LED is standard. These ones here are the HD matrix LED, and this is actually an option. So with this update here, with the facelift, what did they do? First of all, the GT3 always has a double wishbone in the front. This is special then, so only these top race oriented models have these and not a normal 911. And then they actually reduce the diving in the front. So usually when you are at really high speeds, start to be hard on the brakes, and then just by physics the front dives a little bit in, and that also changes the aerodynamics, and they could reduce that. And their racing test driver said that this is a significant change then, especially for the racetrack. Also the whole suspension has been reworked, and the length is 4,57 meters or 180 inches. This is actually unchanged. Wheels are always 20-inch in the front, but then 21-inch in the rear. And here, there's not only the Weissach package, but also on top of that, here these optional magnesium wheels. And behind that was also an option, the carbon ceramic brake. So this is then almost the top spec you can get overall here in this classic white color also. Then the Weissach package also includes here this CFRP roof, so this also brings down the weight on top of the vehicle. And towards the rear, this is the main difference then, the GT3 and the Touring, which we'll soon explain you all about. This one here has the fixed rear wing, and it would look like this also almost in the base version, but here then the side flaps are a little bit different in the Weissach package, and also has this visible carbon fiber here on the outside. Then we can see the light strip goes all the way through, though this is like taken from the normal 911 world. Also this Porsche lettering here, very visible, three-dimensional, pretty cool. And here for the GT3 facelift, they put a new diffuser, and in the normal GT3 it is a little bit more pronounced, has these longer, wider flaps. It's a little bit less, a little bit smaller than here in the Touring. Soon going to show that to you. And these exhaust tips here are just the real deal. There's no fake tip whatsoever, and also the sound is not fake at all. There is no sound actuator here in the GT3 models, whereas the normal 911 also has one, which you can explain because the engine is also well dampened meanwhile, and then you need to do something that you can still hear it. But here, this engine here does not need any help to still be heard. And since it's here this rear engine concept, I cannot open the hood and show that to you. The only thing I can do is this service flap to open that one. And you know, in the normal 911, it already looks funny, but here it looks even funnier because it's really cute. It's only this really, really tiny small flap there then to fill in some fluids right there. That's it. But I can tell you more about the engine just by looking at the vehicle from the outside. So they still, and also says here 4.0, they still employ a 4-liter flat 6-cylinder. These flat engines, the famous Boxer motor by Porsche, 510 horsepower and either a 7-speed PDK or a 6-speed manual. So both choices are still available, and actually it depends on the market what customers rather go for. In general, for example, in the US, people rather take this one here, the normal GT3, also for the racetrack, together with the manual, whereas customers in Europe rather take the touring version with the manual. But overall, the split is basically 50-50, so the PDK is better in the performance. So the acceleration difference from 0 to 1 kilometers an hour, 62 miles an hour, is half a second. That is a massive difference. It wasn't like that, like maybe like 20 years ago or something, but today it's a massive difference if you have like a high performance PDK, it's a dual clutch transmission, or if you go with manual, and it is either 3.4 seconds or 3.9 seconds then in the acceleration figure, 3.9 then for the manual. The weight, by the way, is this is here almost the most lightweight combination you could have. So like it is here, normal GT3, then the magnesium wheels, and well, in this case, this one has the PDK, soon going to show it to you, but if you would then put the manual, this would be the lightest configuration. This is then at 1,420 kilograms, which is in today's sports cars world, which you can legally drive, and with 5 or 10 horsepower, is really, really lightweight still. That's also the whole scheme of the vehicle. Same goes for the GT3 Touring. This is then if you say like, hey, my primary focus is not the racetrack, but I rather want to have, you know, some more like subtleness on the road, for example, also visually. And they now introduce this additional lip here, so it does not have the huge fixed wing to be a little bit more subtle on the road, but then this one was actually put here because this is here an adaptive wing, so it can go up and down. But if you have this additional small lip here, the speed at which it has to go up is way higher, so it actually goes up later, and this was intentionally because the developers want to have like this sleek look most of the time, unless you go really, really high speeds. Then the GT3 Touring also has this new diffuser style with the upgrade, but here these flaps are not that large as in the normal GT3. Same exhaust graphic here, of course, and then here, because this is a little bit lighter from that, you can even better see here the three-dimensional Porsche lettering all in the bright styling here now. The white color is just called white, by the way. This one here is called Oak Green Neo. And you can see when we have a little bit more light, then you see these nuances in the paint. By the way, these plastic guards here, they are actually standard for all 911, even, you know, not just for this test vehicle. And you can also like remove them or get a new one. The thing is that some small stones, like especially from the front axle, can easily fly in this very pronounced hip area then. These wheels here, same dimensions, 21 inch in the rear, 20 in the front. These here are, however, not the magnesium wheels. And then there's like a big package difference, whereas you can get the Weissach package for the normal GT3, racetrack oriented. You can get a lightweight package here for the GT3 Touring. This one is not equipped with it, to also show you like the difference. And this one also includes the magnesium wheels. Therefore, the lightweight package is more expensive than the Weissach package, which at first sight doesn't seem logical, but it's because the magnesium wheels are included here automatically then, whereas with the other one, it's an option, because these magnesium wheels, maybe if you want to have a racetrack use, you don't want to damage them that easily with racetrack small stones and so on. That's the logic behind it. And here, once again, from the front, our green vehicle, you can see here these large cooling holes here in the front. They're making this look so special. But then again, you can see the GT3 Touring also works maybe like from the first sight and as a more or less normal 911. But then, of course, when you turn on the engine, hear the sound, and also have this naturally aspirated engine from the whole characteristic, it becomes something different. And of course, you feel the lightweight building of the vehicle. We already have a driving part of the pre-facelift version. You can check that out later, for example. And to me, the most special thing about the naturally aspirated engines are always that it has a more natural driving feeling. So when you have like these turbos, for example, or maybe also with electric helper systems and so on, at some point you get like this very sudden boost. And the naturally aspirated engines, they have, you know, it feels more linear, like this whole performance curve, and you just get somehow a little bit better feeling for the vehicle. Even though, of course, with the turbo you can reach better acceleration figures, you know, but here, of course, 3.4 seconds is still very impressive. especially for a naturally aspirated engine. And why did they also have to rework this vehicle here? Because they needed to lower the particle emissions, the emissions overall and so on by regulatory reasons. But at the same time, you know, this usually costs always like performance and so on. But they try to do everything that although it emits less, they could still keep it at the very same power output, and that's also what they have done here. And then for everyone who like really wants to push it, the red line is also still at 9,000 RPM. This is also something really special, that you have a naturally aspirated engine and still, you know, go at 9,000 RPM. Of course, not always useful to use it, but it's good to know that it actually does work. The correct term in German, by the way, for these naturally aspirated engines would be Sauger. Listen and repeat. Sauger, which is like turning indicators here, by the way, in the rear. Super wide and a nice integration. And since this one here is the Touring, here, this one again has the surface flap that goes over the whole, yeah, almost the whole width. There we go. So you see, yeah, a main difference is the surface flap between the GT3 and GT3 Touring. It's also like, really like, it appears to be fragile, you know, always you have to think, oh, I have to be gentle to close this again. And the turning indicators in the front, they actually replace the daytime running light then temporarily, and they have this 4-dot design, and even the side indicator here is like a little bit visible already from the front. Car key looks like this. It's here in this case, which is, I don't know, not necessary, I would say. And then here, door closing sound is really solid, although these are frameless doors, of course, and even dual insulation. So yeah, rare for a race car. Let's take it that way. Then here, for example, here, born in Flach, this is like a test circuit. So also a nice paddle light for that. Then we have special features like, here from the Weissach package, the carbon fiber here also for the handles, even more weight savings, and also, you know, channel here, GT3, look at that, this net here, just as another racing weight saving measure. Then here in the front, you can then activate the service flap, open it, or in the front and the frunk. We'll also soon take a look at that. And then here, this normal GT3 is all about the race text, the microfiber here on the steering wheel already, pretty cool. Also real buttons at the steering wheel, drive mode selector. And these here are the bucket seats, also with the race text. And the sport seat would come as base, and then the bucket seat as an option. And this, of course, in the more, let's say, racetrack proofed feature, you have to squeeze yourself in. You can here adjust the length. How you sit to the steering wheel is, of course, always, you know, really upright from this whole, area, and it really caters you in. And this is the solution indeed for the racetrack, that you don't move right and left. It always depends also on your individual body posture, which seat is better, but yeah, probably in most cases I would go for a normal sport seat unless you go for the racetrack. Then this one is more suitable. And also because of another feature here in the headrest, I'm going to show that to you very soon. There's a new feature which is really, really interesting. The steering wheel itself has a manual control here. Once again, weight savings in, out, up and down, and you can find a good position then here for you. And headroom here with 189, 6'2". So this is no problem, because there needs to be also some space left, because in this vehicle here, people will also wear a helmet. The only other thing you can adjust here, by the way, with the seat here, when you press this one, then it's an electric function and it goes actually higher. Which leads me to the question, this electric motor, the small one, isn't that too much weight? And you might have seen it in some of my reviews where I was on the racetrack with some cars and there were regulations on location where you had to wear a helmet inside the vehicle. And then I was often driving like this, because, you know, when you have a helmet on, then you're like this far away from the head restraint and you're like, yeah. And they thought of that. And so here, this head restraint here, you can search a button underneath, release. There we go, press it. And then in the top, they're like these hinges. And you can put it down, there we go. So here, and then you can remove that one for wearing a helmet. And then you just have more space then to wear that helmet on the racetrack. So that's also a good feature then for real racing drivers. This here, the normal GT3, is only available with 2 seats. And then option, you can also get this carbon fiber overall cage. This is like really, really stiff. Hopefully you will never need that, but this of course an additional safety measure, and this of course all tuned to full racing style. Then with the Weissach package, it's also here all the way in race text, also here on the dashboard. So that's pretty cool feature here. Yeah, you should probably just comb it all the way in the same direction then. Red contour stitches, also here all the way race tech covered here also for the cup holder, for example, that comes out. Yeah, not sure if I would use it while being on the racetrack. Here the Weissach badge also, together with more visible carbon fiber. And another special thing is that no matter where you put the key, this one here still keeps this turn on the ignition with a key fob-alike turning structure here on the left side of the stalk column. And especially here to the GT3 is, look at that, this is the PDK selector, not a small one, but here I like a real one that looks like a manual shifter. And the interesting thing is, like when you go here from P and then to the gears or back to P, this is like a real wire, you know, you can also feel that. But then, you know, like in D, the different gears, this is then shift by wire in a sense of electronical, you know what I mean? So like the first step is manual, mechanical, and then the real shifting steps, these are then done electronically. And you can also go here with the like sequential press forward and backward, or you can also use here at the steering wheel, of course, the shifting pedals to do that. So you still have a manual feeling, although you have a PDK. Driver POV here, very important, once again with the drive mode selection right here. That's very easy to do then while driving, and also nice clicking feedback here. This is how you control the digital instruments. They can change your views how you want to have it. And yeah, very well visible, of course, all the different gauges. And then towards the right side, first of all, we have here lower part. For example, this is here still the volume selection, manual, and climate unit here. It does get blocked a little bit, of course, then here with the, you know, cool shifting lever. That's the thing. So sometimes you think about like, where shall I reach that? So that's a trade-off, you know, to have this cool thing. Then it does block this one. When you have the small integration here of an automatic shifting lever, then it leaves you more space to control the climate unit here. That's the thing. What would you prefer? Tell me in the comments. Then you also have this front lift function here, for example, with this feature. You also hear it, and it says here front end is raising. So then you can also save the geolocations of that maybe at home in the basement garage, it's always getting activated again. That's very interesting. Lowering not possible, door open. So when the door is open, then it's not possible, and then there we go. Now it works again. Next to it is a new assist button. Let me zoom into that. There we go. So this assist button here is really cool. This is a new thing because some, especially users of this vehicle, want to deactivate certain features of the vehicle quickly. And then you just have to press it once here, and you can deactivate lane keeping assist, the brake assist, the brake recommendation, the coffee cup mode, and also the speed warning. However, the speed warning you could also deactivate here on the steering wheel when you have this button here, the favorite button, and then hold it and change the button assignment. And by that, you can also, for example, here then, and go here, speed warning, that you put the favorite button to the speed warning to be able to easily deactivate it with that. And it shall never be missing here the stopwatch in the top part. Such a classic, right? And something small where the GT3 also profits from the 911 facelifts here when you raise the armrest. More space for your smartphone, and the inductive charging is now also cooled. So it doesn't overheat, but you can also use the cable chargers, of course, for Apple CarPlay. And a quick look at the Touring interior, which is signalized here with the fabric on the inside. So you don't have the racetracks, but this special fabric that has like this carbon fiber look a little bit on the inside. This is also the option bucket seat. Standard would also be a normal sport seat. Then once again with the fabric on the inside, where the normal GT3 has the racetracks on the inside. From the comfort actually is kind of similar. It's a different material feeling. This is probably a little bit stiffer, maybe stays a little bit cooler in summer, I don't know, but the microfiber It's maybe a little bit more premium from the touch or something like that, but yeah, rather a matter of preference, I would say. An all animal-free interior is not yet available. This is where Porsche, especially with the 911, is lagging behind. The Porsche Panamera is meanwhile, for example, available with a completely animal-free interior if you appreciate all animals. What else here? This is also the version with a manual gearbox, and that's pretty cool. You can see the 6-speed manual gearbox, and I can also here shift them through. Also like the sounds it does, pretty short. That's pretty amazing. And there's even a shorter stick available that would also be possible. And also special to the Touring is that for the first time you can get a GT3 with rear seats. This is also an option. Yeah, you can see the same fabric, also Isofix, because this is also something they say most customers demanded, that this is like the most demanded change, that you can also apply some rear seats. Adults cannot really sit there. You see, when I have the seat to my driving position, I don't even have to try to get in there. Actually, maybe when you put the bucket seat in the front, I have to try that very soon. What you can also do, of course, is use it for bags. So here you can fold it down like this, and then you can put the bag here, fold down the other half. I can also do that. There we go. So this is then here like an additional luggage area, so to speak. So let's just imagine I'm in the passenger seat. No, let's not imagine that. Never. Yeah, but what I want to point out is when I would be in the passenger seat, and then, of course, there could be more space in the rear then. So here, pull this one again. Seat belt. Yeah, with the seat belt is the question like over or under it. So this is probably the best solution. Seat belt under, and then I know what's coming now. Time codes, Thomas in the rear seats, and this time it's really justified. So I want to be really, really careful not to damage the vehicle. Well, it worked to put the seat back again, but now, no. Defo not. But I'm still proud of myself that I managed to get in there, actually. Of course, there's also the Frunk right here. It's both for both versions the same actually here, and you can see it also fits a cabin trolley. You can also play some Tetris and then put it in like this, and then put something on top of that, so that all your racing gear can also drive with you. Underneath here, by the way, in the front hood, this is also carbon fiber, the whole thing. But here you have also these, cut out parts. And this is actually for pedestrian safety. So otherwise carbon fiber is really, really stiff, doesn't give away. And so from the outside, when the pedestrian then hits the front hood, then there's also, like a little bit more flexibility. This is a very unique thing to do here with carbon fiber. Pricing starts here at 209,000 euros. That's the German price I already have here for the normal GT3. And if you go for a special package like the Weissach package or then the lightweight package for the Touring, with some options and so on, you can close into about 250,000. So yeah, really price hefty, but Porsche says actually that all the prices rather went up than went down for all the prestigious owners of this vehicle here. It's not limited though, but of course not so many people can actually buy one, and also they cannot build endless ones of these. So very interesting what's going to happen with this new updated generation then here. And we already have a lot of 911 content. The pre-facelift, the driving review of the GT3 Touring, or also the most recent 911 Turbo. Wait a minute, the 911, yeah, because it has a turbo, that's why. But it's a 911 GTS with a new electric turbo.